Community Viewpoint.
And welcome to another episode, shall we call it, of Community Viewpoint. I haven't called it that before. I'm John Pawlak, your host for this episode. And today we have the good fortune of having a longtime friend of mine, Paula Elefante, who is the spearhead behind what's called the Nye Cancer Support Group. Paula's been involved with many things that we've been involved with through the years, but let me introduce Paula to you. And what are some of the things you've been involved with? I first Relay for Life years ago.
Yeah.
And,
as far as dealing with cancer issues, Relay for Life. And I also, when I first met you, I was training to do the 60-mile, 3-day walk. It's a breast
cancer
cancer
about
walk.
that, yeah.
Yeah, I did it 3 times.
And then there's the powwow thing.
The powwow, I've been involved with powwow for 14 years now.
Yes, yes.
And Wild West Extravaganza.
Oh my goodness, yes.
10 years.
Yes. And now this is a new group that's being formed.
Yes.
By a cancer survivor like myself and you.
Yeah.
We're part of the group. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And it started out, I had cancer 11 years ago. I had a lump in the saliva gland. It was removed, and we found out it was cancer after I had that lump removed. Went through radiation 5 days a week for 5 weeks, like most people when they get radiation. And so now, 11 years later, I'm starting to have issues, problems, as a direct result of the radiation treatments.
Really?
Radiation is a killer that'll keep on killing.
Oh, God. I think cancer is worse. It's bad until you have the radiation.
Until you have treatment. And
yes.
Sometimes, I mean, I have a friend up in Beatty. She's coming down. She's going to be a part of our group. Mm-hmm. And she is going to have to be on a chemo drug for the rest of her life.
So I don't want, it's hard for me to say. I was lucky that when my cancerous kidney was taken out and some extra plumbing in there too, I had a 6-month checkup after that. I never had any chemo or anything else afterwards. So in some respects, I don't have the after effects of that.
Right.
And that was a little over 8 years ago. So I'm still kicking. And
you still get checked out.
Yes, yeah. The blood tests they take, I just had a CAT scan for something else, and then they look in there for other things. Yeah. But yeah.
That's good.
I've had the VA for health benefits because I ran out of my civilian benefits. Now that I'm old enough, starting in 2 weeks from now, I'll get Part B for Medicare. So I'll have the civilian doctors again too. So I'll have both of those. As we get older, we should be looked at more doctors should be looking at us.
As we get older, we need to own our health. I own my health, not the doctors. I'm the one that says, okay, this year I need to go have a colonoscopy. I need to have my mammogram. I need to have this, that, or the other. And I'll go in and I'll tell the doctor, okay, it's been 3 years or 5 years or whatever. I need to do this now. This year.
My colonoscopy, they said I had a 10-year warranty. I looked, it was 13 years ago. So it's that time again.
Anyway, so the reason, before Relay for Life this year, when my issues started, and trust me, I've been hyperbaric chamber treatments.
Ooh.
Oh, that was cool. I loved it. I felt so good. After the last treatment I had, I came out of there and it was like, I was more clear-headed. And I felt refreshed and I felt revitalized and getting all that oxygen, pure oxygen into me. I'm like, wow, where can I buy this machine? So, but anyway, it was like with the issues, when I first started thinking about this, it was like cancer survivors. And then I thought, well, there's only one cancer support group in our community, and it's a men's group. It's the Prostate Cancer Survivors Group. They meet monthly, I believe, gosh, I can't remember what day, but they meet monthly at the hospital and Dr. Tom Walters is the one that instigated that. So if anybody's curious, you can call him. Our group is going to be open to cancer survivors, men, women, children, adults. It doesn't matter what kind of cancer you had. And then as time went on, it was like, no, it's not going to be just for us survivors. We need to bring in people who are going through treatment now, newly diagnosed, people in treatment, survivors, caregivers. Caregivers, I mean, how would we survive if it wasn't for our caregivers? Caregivers, and then after the first couple of months, then we'll start looking at having speakers.
Okay.
Information. The first couple of months, we're going to talk about the group. We're going to talk about our cancers. We're going to talk about things that are going on. We'll get the Cancer Treatment Center from Las Vegas to send somebody out one time. But I don't see us having speakers yet for a little bit. We need to get ourselves
acquainted with each other.
Yeah, and figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
And
your path forward.
Someone might come in that had a salivary tumor, like I had, and I can say, well, first things first, go to the dentist, because as a consequence of my radiation, all of my teeth, I had teeth breaking, my teeth were dying. Last week I sat in at endodontist, that's a specialist for root canals, and had 5 root canals done, all in one sitting. Thank God for Xanax.
Oh.
So anyway, we're going to be meeting on the first Thursday of the month at the library, at the Prump Library, from 3 to 5. And I know that I have a lot of acquaintances in this town that are survivors, but they have day jobs. So we're going to see if we can find some sort of time that will work for everybody. At the library, I couldn't get it for the evenings. I could only get it for until 6 o'clock.
5, yeah, or 6, yeah.
Yeah, because then they'd have to have staff stay if we were in the evenings.
Right, then you have to pass the hat.
Yeah.
Because it costs. Yes.
Right, so.
But I'm sure you could find other places too that would welcome you, that have better hours like that. What about China Walk? They have a room over there. And then they're hoping that you can have a buffet.
That we'd have dinner.
Yes. So think about that.
I reserved that room for a meeting.
Yeah.
And when we started arriving for the meeting, there was people sitting in there enjoying their dinner when there was lots of places, lots of booths out in the main dining area. So it's like, I don't think I'm going to do that again.
So you also mentioned that even though this is called the, what?
Nye Cancer Support Group.
Not Nye County, but Nye Cancer.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of including our neighbors across the border in Shoshone and Tacopa also.
Well, yeah, because we would be the close. I mean, they come here for treatments. They come here, to our hospital, and that's a part of our community.
Right.
Beatty, Amargosa, even possibly Sandy Valley. If somebody down there hears about us and they want to come over and come into our meeting, that's fine. Tacopa, Shoshone, Baker, I remember I was really dumbfounded when I started doing statistics about Pahrump and getting numbers together back when I was doing economic development.
Oh, yes.
And working with Home Depot's people. I learned that people from as far away as Baker, that's about 86 miles, come to Pahrump to shop, to get their cars serviced, because if they get on the 15 going either to Las Vegas or down to Barstow, and if there's an accident and the freeway shut down, they could be sitting out there for 4 or 5 hours. So they came to Pahrump. I mean, it's not strictly just a little Pahrump group. This is for our community. And our community's really big in my book.
It is, yes. So once again, you're going to be meeting at the library when?
Our first meeting is Thursday, this July 7th, 3 p.m. at the Pahrump Library. You know, and at the Relay for Life, this last one, I announced it to the survivors, and I announced it on stage to all the people that were out there participating in Relay for Life. And I took 3x5 cards, and anyone that was interested, I just had them put their name, their email address, and their phone number on the 3x5 card. Mm-hmm. So I sent out 12 emails because I had 12 email addresses. There's a couple of people that couldn't remember their email or didn't have it, or they gave me their phone numbers. So I'll be calling them to let them know that the meetings are going to be starting.
Very interesting. So I want to thank you for sharing this with us, and we want you to tell your neighbors about this. You may not be the survivor, but if you have a neighbor that is, just at home and maybe down because of the cancer they have, tell them about this support group. There are other people that are involved, and they want to talk about that, and it may be the best thing for them.
Yeah, and like I said, this isn't for a specific type of cancer. No. I mean, John had kidney,
and lost a kidney.
I had a salivary tumor, which is rare because I had an adenocarcinoma. It's kind of odd. My husband, who won't be going, had a dermal fibrosarcoma, Agent Orange related, but they won't accept it. They shushed him away. My friend in Beatty, it's breast cancer. I have another friend that's lung cancer. And so this is for everybody. This is for all types of cancer victims. We're all a victim of cancer. And you know what? Someone I met just recently, they just got diagnosed, and I said, well, what are you afraid of? And she said, cancer. I said, it's the word. It's the word cancer that it's like, oh my God, I have cancer. Not that I had an adenocarcinoma, but I had cancer.
And with that, we have to say good evening, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.
And I'll see you at the library.
Yes, she will.
Community Viewpoint.